I was saved at a young age, but my relationship with God didn't really start going very deep until about when I entered the youth group. And then it kind of went up and down, but then the commissioning has really helped me with that, and I have a better understanding of God and of the Trinity, and of just the ways, I've been able to see the ways that He works, and just so many different ways. And I feel very strongly led into the field of equine therapy. About sophomore year, God really showed me that that's where He wants me to go. And about a year later, I was provided with an opportunity to actually go with my riding teacher and work with handicapped kids and horses. And that was really awesome. And whenever I start to doubt that that's what God wants me to do, He would kind of remind me that that is where He wants me to go. The thought would pop into my mind, and then something about it would just come up in conversation about equine therapy, or I would see something about it. And I feel very, very strongly that that is where God is leading me. So until He directs me otherwise, that's where I'm going.
When God said, go and make disciples of all nations, what I've learned from this class is that He's saying that go everywhere and make disciples of all nations. And the real question is, where should we start? And what I found through this class is that we should start at our homes, at our schools, at our workplaces, where we are today. I guess God's put us in the situations we are to be a witness. That's really what the Great Commission is about, to be a witness wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Through this, I have found a greater calling to be a full-time missionary and focused on disaster relief. And I really am thankful for the church in supporting us through this whole process. And I can't wait to see what God will do with this class in the future.
God has really shown me through this commissioning experience how to read the Bible better and how to understand His Word more. We had these listening guides with our encouragers, and I used to read the questions before reading the passage, so I'd have a better understanding of how to read, or what I was looking for. After studying for a while, I started highlighting the passages that I thought were more important, and then I'd go on to the questions and find out that those verses that I highlighted were about the questions, so I got to deeper understanding of what those meant and why those were more important than the other verses. And I also feel like through this commissioning experience, God has really shown me that I want to work with children's in the children's ministry.
The commissioning class has definitely helped me grow closer in my relationship with God. There's really 3 areas where I've seen a big significant change or transformation in myself throughout this class. The first area was in responsibility. Throughout our class, we've done our weekly hard things, which would range from doing some research for the camp we're doing, or even bringing a topic to study next week to class. We did an in-depth study of the Trinity, and we even planned our own mission trip to Chicago and are planning a sportsmanship camp here in Centerville. The second area where I've seen a transformation is service. We've kind of focused on enough for us, abundance for others. So I've also got to serve through the children's ministry and got to know a lot of the kids, and got to serve through the service auction. And the third area where I've seen a change in myself is leadership. I got to be the trip coordinator for our trip, so that's head position, and I got to lead a youth merge event this past year. That was kind of fun to lead the youth, and I've also got to know the kids in the church very well throughout this, and I feel like I've kind of become a leader of the kids in our church and the youth group. Ultimately, what I've learned is that no matter what career I choose or life path I take, God will always be with me and use me for His glory.
This class for me has realized that I'm able to share my faith more openly with others, and I've been able to express things and talk to people as easier than I was before. And I mean, it showed me that God does have a plan for me and how He wants me to serve others. And in Chicago, that's what we plan to do, is to help children from violence there, and that's going to help. And after this class, I plan to keep working with children and serving them and helping them grow in God and demonstrating His love to them. And yeah, I don't know much.
Morning, everyone. I've been asked to give a story on how my faith has evolved through the spiritual marker and through Morning Star Baptist Church in general. To define it in a word, I would say that I've obtained and seen flexibility. Firstly, I've obtained flexibility through the program and church by being pushed out of my comfort zone. I've had to speak on multiple occasions to a crowd about our class progress, which at first terrified me. But God, of course, kept pushing me, and eventually I became comfortable with it. Which also leads me to the other big thing that we've learned at Morning Star, and that is our spiritual gifts and God-given talents. We've learned so much about what gifts God has for us and how He wants us to use them, which will be extremely beneficial to us in the future. Finally, I just want to thank this church for the flexibility that I've seen in them. A few years ago, I don't know if we could have accomplished what we did, but this church has become a flexible, multi-generational church that has come around us with your generosity. I'm so grateful for this class and for this church, and I can't wait to see what God has for me and this church in the future. Thank you.
Boys become kings, girls will be queens, wrapped in your majesty. When we